Hello, everyone. It's Michele Maher here, and I'm here with Michael Ballard.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you, Michael, for giving me your time.
It's
If you
great to
want to
be here.
just give a few words on who you are and what you do.
Sure, I'm Michael Ballard from Toronto, Canada, and I speak and train and coach and deliver programming on resilience. And resilience is our ability to deal with adversity. So it's not a cure for anything, but resilience is all about a mindset, a beliefs and value set of, do you have the problem or does the problem own you? I'm the first to say at 3:30 in the morning, I've had problems that owned me. But resilience is by the time you wake up again or you stagger up, a little coffee or tea to help, you are back in control, that you own the problem. You might not like it, you might not have caused it, but you owned it. So resilience is a process, a skill set, a belief system, language that help us cope with adversity for a better quality journey that can often, not always, but can often change the outcome.
All right. Well, then it's a perfect time to be speaking to you as we are faced with quite the challenge right now.
We are. We
And
are.
being resilient is definitely something that's going to help you pull you through.
Yes. Yes. Well, a long time ago, I got very interested. At 6, I had a concussion riding my bicycle down the road. And a 4-year-old that ran out in front of me, and I managed to be good enough driver to miss her, did the right thing. But then I was in a subdivision. I went down a little 3-foot ditch, and with this noggin of mine, I hit the only rock in the ditch. Got a
Um,
world-class headache, and within a few minutes was unconscious. And
oh,
for
yeah.
3 days, I faded in and out of consciousness, and boy, I really did have a 6-foot wide headache. And what got me interested in, I didn't know it was resilience at the time, but what got me interested in behavior was my roommate had a concussion. I wanted people to whisper, could you whisper for me, please? And could you not leave the lights on? Could you turn the lights off? And just leave me alone. And my roommate, and I only learned this as an adult, he did exactly the opposite of what those of us with head injuries can do. There's 2 responses. Mine was typical, so was his. He yelled and screamed and shouted. He wanted all his grandparents there to see him. Why wasn't his dad home from the business trip yet? And after 18 hours of him screaming off and on every hour on the hour for a long time, my parents got me another room where it was quiet. So at 6 years old, to use old words, I was flabbergasted. I was amazed that 2 young males could have the same issue. His injury was at the front too. And I wanted quiet, and he was agitated. So
Huh,
that got me started going, wow, isn't that fascinating that we can respond so differently to a similar incident? And then
right.
at 17, I had a chronic illness diagnosis, and my doctor, with good intentions, said, there's nothing you can do. Well, in my family, you're not allowed to live in the land of nothing you can do. You can visit it and go, I'm scared. That's okay. But don't live in the, I'm scared. It's terrible. So I was lucky that a university had opened up near my house. So got the family car, drove to the library, and looked up my illness. And a couple of universities in the 70s were starting to research chronic illness and belief systems. Again, no cure, but managing. So I quickly found out that what I'd learned in Shaolin Kung Fu, talk about good things happening, tied in with this research, tied in with faith, and that if you did the following things, you could have 20% less symptoms, 30% less cost, less severity, less intensity. It was like, wow, less frequency? Like, count me in. It's free to do this, public knowledge. So I then proceeded to, after practicing for quite a while, I had 3 years with no symptoms. Under the microscope, I still had my bowel disorder, but I had no symptoms. My doctor was like, huh. I said, well, you said nothing I could do. I'm using the research from, oh, we don't do that in our practice here. Well, I'm sorry, but I like choices. If it can't hurt me and it might help me, why wouldn't you tell me about research that can help me manage my chronic illness? That got me fascinated with the power of the mind and our beliefs and our faith.
Right. Yeah.
So that got me started. And prayer, mindfulness, meditation, your viewers, listeners, friends, connections, people in Facebook land, perspective. How do we see each other? as a joke, when I go to meetings and I run into people I've only ever met on social media, I usually come up to them in their face and go, "So that's what you look like. Oh, I know you now. I don't recognize a whole body, but a face, shoulder, face, front. It's nonsense talk, but we all have a chuckle because it's some way true."
Yeah, that's
One of
true.
my friends is very big on activism for seniors because she's in her 70s. But she said, when I have my picture up as me now, I get less interaction. So I have the picture up of me when I was younger, and we photoshopped in my grandchild who looks very much like me back in the day. And I get 100% response from everybody when I pursue activists and scientists and politicians. So she said, "I'm just playing the game, darling," because I
Yeah.
teased her, said, "Where's your body double?"
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
So as we
True.
all go through this virus issue,
Yes.
it's really important that we look at how are we defining ourselves. Yes, it's easy to say, do you have the issue and you own it, as opposed to the issue own you. But it's a skill set, it's a belief system, it's a mindset. And so I would say to people watching now, or in a few minutes or in a few hours or a few months, depending on how this virus issue turns out, is look at your beliefs. Fear is sometimes just anger and frustration at what we're going through. I'd rather be out with clients. I got some big meetings planned. I have a TV network interested in one of my learning programs. I'd rather be developing that right now, face to face with a couple of people I have. So we're doing it this way. It's not the same thing though, because usually this way is a little more formal. But face to face, I can buy you a coffee and go, well, I was going to make it a double, but I didn't figure you wanted to talk that fast. I tend to be a little more nonsensical in person just because it makes me more relaxed.
Yeah.
Anyways, so as we go through it, to own it. How have you to date allowed life to define you? And what would you like to change? So if there's an invisible dictionary in here and your picture's there, how are you defining yourself? And this is easy to talk about, and it's a lifelong piece of homework. And we have to do it with ourselves gently. So to go back and use me as the model, way back in time, my grade 1 teacher within 3 weeks recognized that Michael had an eye-hand coordination problem back when they taught printing and handwriting in school. And so she sent a letter home. She could have sent a letter home and said, Michael's not this and Michael's not that, and Michael's never going to be this and he's too stupid. But no, Miss Patton, being a wise professional, and to me, world class, because she changed my life view of educators forever. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Ballard, Michael appears to have what some students have had for their will have for their lifetime, an eye-hand motor control issue for printing. So I've ordered him some special printing books, much bigger than the rest of the class. And all I would ask is that he bring it home and practice it 4 nights a week, just for 10 or 20 minutes. It shouldn't be a burden. It just should help him do his best. And she listed my 3 learning issues. There was no tests back then for these issues, but she was wise enough and in touch enough with herself and the students. No judgment either, just this is getting in his way. And then she proceeded to say the part that to this day makes me get weepy, that just talk about respectful, professional, and amazing. So these 3 things will get in the way of Michael's schooling, and it will be very tough on Michael in schooling because he will be judged. However, Michael in the classroom, in the playground, and in the hallways has exceptional other skills that will set him apart and will serve him and others very well for the rest of his life.
Wow.
So, took my learning issues, framed them professionally, told the truth. Because to this day, if I write or attempt printing, you know those old detective shows where beside the phone, when the old days when there was a landline and a notepad and the detectives would get a pencil and they, oh yeah, we know the numbers they've called and here's what his plans were. Well, you can go down 10 sheets of paper and still do that with me because I have a pressure issue. I could play the piano, I'm told, better than average. I learned that to try to help with motor control. Didn't help printing and writing. I took keyboarding back in the day when keyboarding was for girls only or ladies. I was one of 4 boys in a class of 30 odd young ladies in grade 9. No, that was a wow. Where do I look? That didn't help my motor control. So there was Miss Patton practicing reframing or framing
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
resiliency at the highest order. Because I'm just this little 6-year-old kid, apple of mom and dad's eye, got a new brother at home who's 10 months old, and I'm being told I am not good enough for grade 1 stuff. I'm like, what? But she said it in such a beautiful, uplifting way. So mindset.
Right.
If she'd have been nasty and negative,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's my grade 2 teacher, I would have been less than. You know, he'll be a good garbage man and street sweeper, maybe. You know, the old 1960s and 70s thinking.
Yeah.
But no, he's got these 3 challenges. School's going to be tough on him. Just do your best. But he's got these skills that he's going to serve him really well. And we need what he's got. And so it was true. I went on to do some things that not everybody could do. I helped when we had 800 refugees land here. I led 30 odd charities to help serve the refugees as they settled, as they escaped a war. It was hard work, but it was easy. Work across cultures, no problem. Oh, there's 5 groups in the culture. Oh, how do we appease the far right in the culture and the far left and keep everybody safe? Oh, a young lady and a young man are not really a couple. They are, but he's from the side that was at war with the whole group that just got here. His life is at stake. How do we sneak them surreptitiously out of the camp? So, social skills. So, resiliency, as we stay inside and we have a problem, to make sure that the problem doesn't have us, we have to take a look at routines. Really important right now to have routines.
Right.
Who do you talk to every day? That's my phone. That way with this background, you can't see that I didn't tidy up and dust. It's only half dusted. That's the trouble with 4K transmission. People with good reception can tell that I didn't dust, and they can read all the books on my shelf, all the spines. So first thing, routines. Get up. How do you get up? I like to get up to music. Mid-tempo, something to raise my spirits. I have an old-fashioned alarm clock that if I set it to noise, it is the emergency nuclear holocaust alarm clock. I wake up and I'm achieving target heart rate of 120 beats a minute within 13 seconds. But I have to be careful because in attempting to turn it off, I've dropped it twice. I've knocked it off the chest of drawers twice. So my phone has much more gentle alarm clocks, and I have one to set me up for when I want to get up, when I'd like to get up, when I want to get up. And these days, because there's not much going on other than this, I have no travel time required except to show up here, shaved, showered, and reasonably coiffured. So, and my third one is aggressive. It's like you've had 2 sleep in, it's get up now. So routine, what are you doing for routine? Get up, shower, in my case, shave. Not every day of the week. The face gets a holiday a couple days a week, which I've learned makes me look like I should be in a wanted poster. But hey, it is what it is. So shower, shave. I put the kettle on before I go in the shower. When I come out, tea bags are in the teapot. The cups are all lined up. The spoons are in the cups. On your mark, get set, pour. Okay, it's time to read something. No news.
No.
They're not outside my house with a hailer saying, attention, attention, we got 30 minutes left before the tsunami hits. So read. I have a public library that normally I would access just over there by steps, but it's closed due to the virus, to slow transmission. We're trying to flatten the curve, and we're winning right now. Slowly, but we're winning because it's slowing down, except for those people who went on March break and were foolish.
Yeah.
But
that's another story. Yeah.
I can't say what I think because I'd be thought of as inhumane. They should go to the back of the line if they have problems, okay? That's my polite. Anyways, routine. So me, shower, shave, tea, read. Tea's ready. It only takes 3 minutes. Pour. Okay, now, is there anything from family in the hopper? No. Are any of my senior friends looking for anything? No. Okay, that takes care of email. Now, social media. Oh, tea's almost done. Probably should eat first. Okay. Food. Is it hot, cold, mixed, Let's do it. Eat. Let's do dishes so they don't pile up. Because back when this was first announced, as we discussed off air before we get here, it was announced that sports leagues were postponing or canceling their whole season. It was like, whoa, I've
Yeah,
got
this is
science friends
serious.
with 2 master's degrees, and I've got some acquaintances that have doctorates that are really smart, and they never talk about health issues except when it's really important to all of us. I mean, the one has only put up one post about vaccinations once in the last 10 years with all the battles back and forth about good or bad. So for him to start posting every day about the virus, it was like, oh, you pay real close attention to this guy. He works at a high level in healthcare. He's interrelated to people around the world. So I had a couple of days with the dishes piled up, and that's a small signal to me that you're breaking routine and you're feeling stressed. It's time to get back to doing dishes. After every meal. I don't like doing dishes. I was a dishwasher to help pay for college. I've washed more dishes possibly than any 10 other people, unless they wash dishes for a living. Our restaurant sat 100 and some odd people, and on our busiest days, more than once a week, we did 330 settings in a shift. I have washed a lot of cutlery and forks and knives and dishes and plates and spoons and etc. So wash them. Anyway, so routine. So now it's 90 minutes I've been up, and so it's like, look outside. Just don't use the weather app. Look outside. Now, I live in a tower. So in this physical distancing, because we don't want a social distance, I think it's great that you said, Michael, I'm looking for people to interview. Thank you. Because nobody might listen to me, but your next guest, they might look at them, hear them, and do everything they suggested to keep safe. That's great, because not everybody do we all connect with and engage with.
Right. Yeah.
But physical distancing and social connection and communication is really vital right now. So look outside. I wave to people these days if they look up, just for fun. And some people are like, you can't catch the virus through glass in 3 stories. So I'm sad for people with that much fear.
Yeah.
Now, I happen to live across the street from a small mall. So right now, there's probably not 12 customers in the whole mall because they're closed, except for 2 grocery stores, 2 drugstores, and for some reason, the government's leaving the liquor store open. I think that's for medication for all of us. It might not cure the virus, but after one drink, we don't care as much.
Yeah.
And you have to join a queue to get into the liquor store because they want lots of spacing.
Yeah.
So routine, and the mall on the outside of the perimeter, that's my walk because there's nobody around.
Yeah.
I'm in springtime here in Toronto. So one day it was 17 degrees above. It was, wear a vest, leave it undone, put it over my arm. It's too hot. And within 2 days, it was 12 below Celsius, by the way.
Yeah.
So back and forth. So routine, exercise, diet. I love coffee. For anybody that's connected with me on social media, they know that I'm constantly putting on kettles on, tea, coffee. I use a French press, which for some of my friends confuses them because they think that only a kettle is for tea. No, French press. It's environmentally friendly. There's no pods to throw away. There's nothing to clean but the press once a week, unless you use it a lot, and then you should clean it more often because the coffee oils in it get rancid. So what's your routine? So that's what I would suggest is the biggest deal here is a little list. So I don't want to wear out my welcome with my seniors that I live close to. They're all hearty and hale. So we have 4 food delivery services that can come to our building. So they don't need me to run out and buy them anything. But I tease them that if this goes on a long time, I'm going to come with a chair. They're going to open their door and I'll sit 12 feet away and we'll read a book to each other, or I'll bring 2 bottles of wine, one on the doorstep, all clean from the virus, and I'll bring a glass and they'll bring out their own glass and we'll have a glass of wine together 6 to 12 feet away. And I'm going to do that if it keeps up.
Yeah.
So, or a cup of tea or a glass of water just to hang out because I can't climb stairs to the 20th floor for all of them, not with I'm just recovering from a broken toe. So but I can go up 3 or 4 flights slowly and just hang out because I want to check on them. And I'm good at making them laugh. Because, you know, I just had a birthday today, so I like to seize and say to the 89-year-old, I'm a year closer. I'm gaining on you. I know it's bad math, but that's not the point. The point is acknowledging their age and their wisdom, and then me being silly that I'm gaining on them.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
nonsense. So that's what I would say to people about resiliency is how have you allowed life to define you? Get a broom, go in there and throw some of it away because that's not true. If I don't listen to my grade 2 teacher, I'm not very competent.
Right.
And I'm not, based on school standards of the 60s. But Miss Patton was very clear that I could print, I can spell, but not very well compared to most. But my social emotional intelligence was off the friggin' page. So when I had bully situations against my little friends, I managed to beat a lightning rod and make most of them go away. I did get a few thumps along the way, but I managed to stop dozens of thumps against my small friends by using this. So social intelligence, emotional intelligence, right now we need to use that to look out for each other, to lift each other up, to stay safe, and check in with yourself about who you're allowed to put information there that's false.
Right.
I had somebody who's since passed that was in my life because they married into the family, and this is too big. And they were not very nice to me before I was 12. And so my 2 other relatives that knew about this person's bad habit of being nasty would say to me, I heard her say something to you. That's because she's just passing on how she was treated before she ever met us. So don't believe her. Luckily, they ran interference. Imagine if that person had been my parent, it would have changed my life. That daily diet of nastiness and negativity would have been profound. So as we go through this isolation time, it could also be a time of gentle, polite reflection. So no shame, no blame to that relative that since passed that was nasty to me with her words on occasion, not all the time, but instead, oh, she was passing along all she knew.
Yeah.
And as opposed to the relatives that were healthier and politer, saying, you're uniquely handsome your way. You might not be the standard issue, but don't ever want to be the standard issue. That's just boring. So right now is a time where we can make new friends electronically. It's certainly safe to do this.
Right.
You don't have to worry about, did he clean them? Yes, several times today. I haven't even left the unit. You know, do I have any bad habits? Well, when it's itchy, it doesn't go in, you know, just to be safe. But I have allergies and it's making me crazy this time of year, but I have learned. You scratch your nose, you sneeze. These are a don't touch zone. I open the door, they got rid of doorknobs where I live, and I put the key in, and I open the door with a latch. And it's all little stuff, right? But I have fun. I try to turn it into a fun game. I can win or I can lose. I got all sorts of reasons why I'm not healthy. If I'm not careful, 2 chronic illnesses, the 2 bouts of cancer, the 5 major surgeries, the 6 major treatments, missing 13 sets of lymph nodes. But I worked in the fall as a store manager for a friend who was short a staffer for 8 or 9 weeks. And out of 9 stores, regional staff, a head office, I was the only person who didn't get sick. I'm supposed to be the one with the most vulnerable health.
Right.
But I washed the mitts. Leave home, wash them. Come home, wash them. Wash my keys, wash my phone. Go to the store, wash the phone, wash the hands, wash the keys, so that nothing from transit somewhere along the line. Wash the door handles, wash the cash register, I was a little, but I stayed 100% healthy. And all these physically fit, not 18 to 35-year-olds, and they're all dropping like flies. Some of them had the flu twice in 8 weeks. So these transmission devices are really got to be kept clean. And if we work on the physical, and if we work on our mental, emotional, that self-dictionary that's in here, and we use a gentle broom, we don't be harsh with ourselves or with others. Whoever put it there, that's all they knew. Throw some of it out. So endoplasmic reticulum will be my nemesis forever, because I failed a great, in Ontario in the 70s, high school went to grade 13 if you wanted it. So I took grade 13 biology because how the human body works is really important to know. Doesn't come with a manual. I got 49 in 2 years in a row. I couldn't pass because I couldn't spell. So I could be mad at the teacher, not fair, or I could be, he was just doing what was considered the right thing then.
Right.
And what's crazy silly now is, as some of my favorite teachers, because I'm over 60, so my favorite teachers are over 85 and they've been dying, and I've been going to funerals. Who is there at every one of them? Michael, one of my favorite students. You were so inquisitive. And I want to say, yes, and you failed me twice. So as we go through this, how you choose to define it. It's okay to be angry and frustrated for a couple of days, but don't live there. Visit it, and then what can I do? How can I help others? What is the government doing? Every government, federal, in our case, province, state, I believe, and local and regional, has programs. Do I fit some of them? Do they need me in some of them? How can I help? I have an acquaintance who's a very gifted outdoor carpenter and indoor carpenter, but in the summer, he loves outside. So he has a reputation for building decks and patios and fencing and outdoor art decoration installations, and his business has gone to zero. He was filled up right through to August because he's got such a superior reputation for hard work and quality of work. And he said, I'm safe and secure for several months because I've just been working hard and saving because I got big plans and dreams to build the business. So I don't want to lease more trucks and equipment. I want to buy some of it so that my cash flow is safer. So he's been very astute. But he said, this frightens me because most of my staff are seasonal. I hire the same people every year. I pay them well, but I can't build a deck in December in Canada. It's frozen outside. I don't do a lot of rec room, TV, broadcast, video rooms in the winter. I'm an outdoor expert and I do really good work inside, but that's not my forte.
Yeah.
So, right now, pain and fear, or challenges and opportunities, and where do I fit, and how am I going to get through this, and how can I be safe? I think it's the safe part, mentally, physically, emotionally, financial, that we have to look at.
That's true. Yeah.
Because, I've had to distance myself from two people on social media who are out swearing at the world. Accusing country leaders of things does not solve it. Swearing at them long tirade doesn't solve it. And
no, it doesn't.
Vulnerable people out there who are hurting, genuinely, mentally, emotionally hurting. I would never want to be the one that made a post that negative that's a tipping point for someone to take their life. And we have to pay attention.
Right.
We have to acknowledge that it's not fun, that it's tough. So those are some thoughts. And I really appreciate the chance to share it. So
thank you.
What are you doing?
Thank you for sharing it. Well, like I say, when I first, when it started all going downhill on the Thursday, I found that the whole Facebook feed was so negative. Then I was getting texts from people that were just watching the news and just talking about more, more cases in Italy, more deaths, everything going up, that kind of thing. And then the panic of the lineups at the grocery stores and the empty shelves, that just, I found myself getting really, the fear, like I felt myself really feeling very fearful and anxious. And then thinking, and then the stock market going down, just everything like that. Yeah. So then that was the Thursday. Then on the Friday, I got sucked into the whole panic buying, stocking up groceries, and ended up going to Costco. So that's like, it was packed, right? It was the craziest it's ever been. But there's 4 of us here in the house. My husband and 2 kids. So we need to make sure that we had food. At least I just got, like I say, sucked into the panic buying. so I just went through that and got stocked up some meat to put in the freezer and things like that. But I do have to say, Costco, they did a really fabulous job, the employees, getting everybody through, and the line moved quick and everything like that.
They have worked very hard here as well. I have an acquaintance who is either an assistant or a store manager in one of your major pharmacy chains there. And he said, I only have one issue, and that's people who think we're hiding some in the back room for staff. He said, we don't have a back room. We have a receiving area, but we want it out. Sales are up 50 to 60% on half staff because we're taking turns, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Because we are a necessary store. We're a drug store. So yelling in my face that we're hoarding toilet paper in the back room, he said, I'm sad. Have they not paid attention? Retail hasn't had stock rooms, a lot of them, for decades.
Right, yeah. No, yeah, nobody carries inventory
Not in the back room. It's on the shelf or it's not in at all. It's called just in time, and it was a big deal in the late 70s, early 80s. So
exactly.
Yes.
After that, going there and getting stocked up like that, on the weekend, I guess it was Sunday, that I kind of had this feeling come to me. I don't know, it came to me kind of in the shower. I thought, why don't I start a group on Facebook that is for positivity, where we can post and share positive ways to get through this with a positive mindset, and I'll interview different people that I know, because I know a lot of people, and discuss, ways that there are different views and ways that we can get through this together. Because, coming together as a community is how we're going to get through this.
Small stuff and big stuff. One of the Canadian youth advocates that I know, we've met twice, so we're not best friends, but he does remarkable work. I really respect him. And he put up a picture. Normally in his stream, he's talking about youth rights and safety for youth and safety for kids and adoption issues and all those things. Well, this time he put up, I used to be told I was quite a baker. Well, he tried to make some double chocolate muffins, and it looked like he was drunk and 4 years old when he made them. There. I said, good with vanilla ice cream and whipped cream, maybe, if you took the wrapper off? He said, they're rather tough. Serve them with a knife and a fork. Don't waste chocolate. So there was lots of laughter because he's posted an aerial view and then an up close, a nice fluffy muffin top. These things are craters, and they just look like a volcano that blew up and then imploded. You can see the streams of chocolate in them and the fudge. And he said, no, they're rather tough and you could break a tooth. I said, fork and knife, little pieces.
Yeah.
So it's the sharing. I shared toilet paper art this week. I don't know who made it. Don't care. It's completely stupid, but it's laughable given the toilet paper hoarding that took place. So somebody's taken their toilet. I assume they cleaned it first, and then they've made a series of art. There's your toilet in the winter, scarf, hat, and 2 rolls on the seat to look like eyes. And there's 12 of them, and it's really well done. It's very foolish, very silly, but it's toilet paper art. There's the eyes and an empty roll coming out of the lid. Looks like they're smoking a cigar.
Yeah. Well,
it's just people being creative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somebody said, I go to the track once a year with my father on his birthday. Track's closed. Said, so what races can we see? So he said, we've got a new type of racing in our house. So showed the three pets and kibble. The animals are eating the kibble. It's the kibble race. No betting though.
Yeah.
So yes, it's serious. Yes, it's scary. But I hear you saying that, you had a turn in yourself.
Yes. Yeah. And I have found since there are some people that remain negative on social media. Some people that just keep sharing all the negative articles and things like that. But I find there's a lot of people that have come out of service, helping each other and offering to be there for whoever needs it, and also sharing their skills and expertise in free webinars and Zoom calls and things like that.
Yep.
And I find that people really And then, of course, the stories of people going shopping for the elderly or whoever in their neighborhood needs
Yeah.
some help.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
so nice to see that.
lots of good things happening right now. You
Yes,
just have to be careful. I say put yourself on a mental health diet, a news diet. I want to know
like
what's
you
going on.
say. Yeah,
I want to know what's going on, but I don't need to watch the news more than 4 times a day.
yeah,
I had an overseas woman call me once. Could I check on her parent? Sure. I knew the parent. We'd hung out a couple times for tea. And so I went to her place and something had stressed her. So she was being informed. Well, in the dining room, living room, BBC World News, loud. In the kitchen, one of our national stations here is CTV News, loud. So you can hear both. This is in a 2-bedroom, very upscale place, but she had the radio playing CBC World News in her bathroom. And then in the bedroom, let's see, CNN News. And the woman was literally jittery.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
said, so I respect your want to be informed, but this is like too much. So
No, yeah,
my
yeah.
challenge to you is once in the morning, once at noon, once at supper. This is 1 hour at a time, and only 30 minutes, more than a half an hour before bedtime. You cannot
Right.
listen to the news half an
Right.
hour to an hour before bedtime.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
her daughter told me that she didn't listen to me completely, but she turned off 2 of the TVs.
Well, that's, yeah, 50%.
So, but I'd never seen anybody, to me, in fight and flight by listening to the news. And
Yeah.
I mean, you
And
just,
that's what it can do to you.
it does, and it does. So
Yeah.
it's fascinating and it's frightening.
Yeah.
So a news diet. I had somebody say,
Yeah.
I want to stay informed. I watch it all the time. And I wrote back, well, that's good for you if you have the emotional, mental capacity and stamina. Does your whole family? Oh, so 4 times a day, an hour a day. That's 4 hours. That's still more than I think you should. But
If you need that much, I was
I don't
going to
think you do.
say,
But for
yeah.
people who really feel the need to be informed, I said, and the rest, read it.
Yeah.
You know, support the local media. Go online, buy a subscription, you know, to a national newspaper that you trust, that has
Yeah.
actually got respected experts that haven't sold their soul to be famous. So we won't mention
Yeah.
certain sites.
If you if
We
you can
certainly
find that, yeah.
we have one in Canada that's just awful. They make it up. I mean, they say things that there's no basis in facts. There's no facts at all. And luckily, most experts are now avoiding them.
Yeah.
But they're into
Yeah.
the name, blame, and shame. And it's like, well, it might create viewers, but how are you keeping them safe? They're not.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's not going to do anybody good.
No.
There's no point in blaming people, shaming people, any of that stuff. It's
Most of
not
us
going
are
to do
doing
us
our
any good.
best efforts. So
Yeah.
except for those that are price gouging, and I've heard about people selling 89-cent hospital masks for $7 each. That's gouging.
Yeah.
Selling them
Yeah.
for
I
99
did see.
cents now. So you're paying your staff overtime or emergency pay for daycare. That I'd have no problems with, even a couple of bucks. But 7, really?
Yeah. No, that's, yeah. Yeah. No, that's not. And just like it's not
Yes. And
right for
even
the
my
people who were
drugstore.
hoarding.
No. I'm diabetic, so I like to keep a month's supply in my house for 2
Yeah.
reasons. I don't want to go to the drugstore every 2 weeks and be reminded. That's one more thing. Oh yeah, you got medical issues. So I try to buy 2 lots at a time of everything, so that I go only once a month or every 2 months for my 2 things. And I phoned in. Nope, nobody's right now. You get 1 at a time. That's it. I'm like, okay, because
Yeah.
I've never thought of having a 2-month supply as hoarding. It just saves me 1 trip. And as a diabetic,
Yeah.
if something horrendous happened to the supply chain, I'm good for 2 months. But
Right.
now they're
Yeah.
going, nope, you get 1. Okay, I'm good. Drats.
Yeah. Well,
So good for you to have that shift and add positivity, because it's better for us. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
I call myself a realistic optimist because let's be real, we got to know what this is. How do we measure it? What does it taste like, look like, feel like, smell like, you know, in terms of anything we can get our hand around. But then what can I do? Oh, I cannot go outside. I cannot just wander. So when I went out for my walk, oh, okay, I'll go to the back of where I live by the garbage cans. Nobody hangs around there. But I went out yesterday and I got my 5 minutes of sunbathing,
Yeah.
full clothes except for my face. And I went, oh, the sun. And nobody was around. Then I went, hey, there really is nobody around. So I walked around to the front of the building where there's a chair or a bench in the sunshine. And I sat there for 5 more minutes and I went, okay, I've taken up enough public space for one day. I've had my 10 minutes outside in fresh air. And I came inside and
Yeah.
I walked up the stairs instead of the elevator so that I was around nobody. And it was like, that's all I can keep doing is not being around anybody.
Right. Yeah. And that's what they're asking us to do. And that's
Our
what
local
everybody
grocery
should be
store,
doing.
our local grocery store offers pickup or delivery. I will want to get out in another week, so I will keyboard in my order. And if the weather's good, I will take my bicycle over, and they actually put it on a you know, you show them your ID and they put it out on a roller system so you don't even get within 12 feet of them.
Yeah, right. I heard that's what
And
you
so
did.
I'm really impressed with that. So if I take my bike, I will order lots with a backpack and pack it home, and I walk over, whatever I can carry, I'll order. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't have to be around anybody. I
No.
would like to go to the liquor store, but I don't need to, so I probably won't do that for another couple of weeks. Imagine that, 6 weeks and not a drink. Oh,
Yeah.
so
Wow.
I love this approach you're taking. I'm co-authoring a book. There's 31 of us going to be coming out in the next few weeks, and it's about 31 issues 31 people have had and 31 ways we work through it. So again, it's point of view, why
Yeah.
and how. So let me leave your viewers with some thoughts.
Yes.
Is I really like Guidepost magazine, and it looks at the perspective of faith, hope, journey, and outcome. It doesn't preach. It just shares people share their particular journey, their particular issue. And sometimes you find out the faith of the person writing, and sometimes you don't. But they're not there hitting you over the head with a mallet saying, be of faith. They're just saying so. The whole magazine is themed on faith, journey, prayer, and outcomes. And it's like, oh, so I get my little one every month. I introduced my mother to it years ago, and she said, stop subscribing. I'll give you mine when you're done, and we'll share which story was your favorite. So mine, I've got a 30-year history of it. I highly recommend it during these times because it's big on hope.
Okay.
So
All right.
Guidepost,
Okay. Well.
Dr.
Okay.
Norman Vincent Peale was the founder,
Mm-hmm.
and he was unique in his day that he said, you know, who am I to tell you that my faith is more superior to your faith? So we're going to include all the faiths. So, you know, you can read 3 articles from Christians and 2 articles from 2 Jewish folks and then a Muslim perspective. And it's like, I find it very healthy in its perspective.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Right.
it's a little sentimental, but that's okay. It's people of different ages writing in. So that's what I'd leave people with. And when the book comes out, I hope they'll get themselves an e-copy.
Okay. All right. Yes. So I'm when I put this up in the group, I will put your information underneath, and then maybe if you could put the the link for the guidepost
Yes.
as well, then that
That is
would be
great.
great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Michael, for your time and sharing that perspective with the world, because that's what it really is. It's all perspective, and yeah,
Own it, don't let it own you. Easy to
exactly.
say, but it is doable.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much,
Love your
and
interior decorating.
thank you, and bye for now, everybody.
Bye-bye.